Good morning, everyone. As you stated, I'm Admiral Craig Bone, 11th Coast Guard District Commander. I'm joined here today by Captain Brown, the CEO of the Cutter Boutwell, the ship that you're standing on here today, and his crew. We're really proud to announce today a record with regard to seizures of drugs, in particular cocaine, over 355,000 pounds of cocaine seized or interrupted in this last fiscal year, which ends September 30th this year. This has been done not just by the Coast Guard, other federal agencies, as well as international partners engaged in this. This activity, 90% of this drug interdictions and interruptions actually took place in the Eastern Pacific, which is down off Central and South America waters, which in fact are the areas which the 11th Coast Guard District has tactical operation control over. We're supported by JADF South, which is a joint interagency task force located in Key West, made up of both federal agencies as well as international entities. We're also supported by the Department of Justice and Department of Homeland Security with PANX. And again, these are both intelligence as well as sensor and aircraft that give us the identification of the targets so that we can take vessels like the Boutwell and the helicopters. You're standing on this ship, you see behind you, you'll see a helicopter deck, which again is normally deployed with a cutter like this. The Cutter Boutwell, actually in this last year, had 5 interdictions, 4 of which were cocaine interdictions, 2 on go-fast vessels, 2 on fishing vessels, and the other one was an illegal migrant interdiction. So you can see this ship has been very successful in the war on drugs. Also, I think it's important to pass on that the tactics are changing. The smugglers have now moved into semi-submersible vessels, making very low profile, very difficult to detect. Also, they've switched from just packaged cocaine into liquid cocaine. In other words, what they do is dissolve the cocaine in their tanks, fuel tanks, and in their water tanks. But as you'd expect, our tactics have changed too in order to counter this. Additionally, they're moving much further offshore. They're moving thousands of miles offshore in an attempt to seek to get outside of the range of our aircraft and the aircraft of our other federal agencies and international partners. Some of the things that have been most successful for us, in particular, are armed helos. The armed helicopters that are deployed with ships like this have been involved in over 120 takedowns of go-fast vessels and fishing vessels, where in fact their engines are shot out so that the over-the-horizon vessels that this vessel carries can be deployed and chase down drug smugglers. Quite often this ship, you'll hear more from the CO about their tactics, but these over-the-horizon vessels are high-speed vessels which are critical in our success in this. Another important attribute in this is our international cooperation. Working with the Department of State and Justice, we have over 26 bilateral agreements with foreign countries. This is not just in prosecution, but actually in the actual takedowns themselves. So in some evolutions, there may be 4 or 5 go-fasts, where this vessel may intercept 2, and in a foreign country may send out their own vessels in cooperation in an integrated operation to take down the aircraft.
Thank you, Admiral. Again, I'm Captain Brown, Commanding Officer at Cutter Boutwell, and I'm very pleased to join Admiral Bone in making this announcement today and having the opportunity to tell you a little bit about what our wonderful crew has done over the past year or so. As Admiral Bone mentioned, the international partnerships, capable platforms are all a piece of our success in the counter-drug mission. I'd like to also emphasize the importance of our people. The boarding team members, boarding officers that you see here are the people who actually get the job done, and many of them are very young. About 1/4 of my crew is under the age of 21, and for them this is their first job out of high school. They're doing great things very, very far from home. I would like to talk a little bit about the tactics. The drug smugglers, like any other type of smuggler, really uses 2 basic tactics. One is to try to hide their boat from detection by us. The other is to try to hide whatever they're carrying on their boat. And we've seen all kinds of these tactics in drug smuggling, in migrant smuggling, and in our most recent patrol in illegal fishing. And I can give you one example on how go-fast operates. Go-fast A small boat with 2 to 4 high horsepower engines might go out to sea with a load of cocaine on and run at night to try to avoid detection from the air. And then during the daytime, stop, pull a blue tarp over themselves to blend into the ocean so that we can't find them. Thanks to the excellent work of our partners at the Joint Interagency Task Force in Key West, we often get good intelligence information when a go-fast event may be taking place. And with aircraft, long-range aircraft with capable sensors, they're actually able to detect these go-fast boats even under tough conditions. The way I try to describe it is that the Joint Interagency Task Force's job is to get our cutter, or others like it, within helicopter range, about 50 to 70 miles of a drug smuggling vessel. And then it's our job after that to use our helicopter, use our small boats, use our onboard sensors to find that boat, get on board it, and then once on board, our boarding team members have to use their wits to try to find the illegal drugs that are often contained on board. As the Admiral said, drugs are often, cocaine can be dissolved now into liquid fashion. It can also be hidden in specially constructed compartments on board, tanks within tanks, or buried within a legitimate cargo on board. Often the drug traffickers will try to run from us, and we have to use either the armed helicopters that the Admiral mentioned, or our small boats, which are capable of high speed, to run down these vessels and sometimes put boarding teams on board before they're even willing to stop. And that's been a very successful tactic for us. The capability of having 2 high-speed boats attached to a cutter like this, which has the capability of staying out at sea for 2 to 3 weeks at a time, is very important. Drug traffickers are very patient. We need to be able to wait them out. And as the Admiral said, they continue to adapt using new routes and tactics to try to defeat us. But with capable platforms, with our international partnerships, and with great people like we have here on Boutwell, and our sister ships, the Sherman and Morgenthau, home ported here in the San Francisco area, aren't here today. They're out on patrol in the Eastern Pacific doing good work, and they've been just as successful as we have.
Very impressive that you have over 350,000 pounds of marijuana or drugs seized. What does that mean in real terms for the average Joe and Jane that lives in America that worries about their kids picking up a bad habit?
Well, I think the first thing is that the cost, and the ONDC, the Office of National Drug Control and Policy, ONDCP has made a statement that this in fact has impacted the cost of drugs and increased the cost of it, making it more difficult, again, for people to get their hands on. The other thing, we estimate about 27% of the drugs coming in via, again, into the United States, in fact, have been intercepted by this waterborne mechanism. Of course, drugs don't just come in by water. They can come across by land as well, but we know that the impact, we believe, and again, the estimate is about 27% have been intercepted by this mechanism.
It's over a quarter of the drugs entering this country, marijuana, are you saying it's been intercepted?
Yes. Cocaine, not marijuana.
I'm sorry, cocaine.
Cocaine.
Say for me again, I'm sorry.
Over 27% of the cocaine that's been brought into this country, or attempted to be brought into this country, has been intercepted by this operation, on-water operation. So again, does it have an impact? Yes, because what that tells you is 27% more of it would be there, would be in the schools, would be on the streets, would be in the hands of individuals trying to apply it upon our young men and women.
Where are these ships coming from? Where are they trying to head to?
Well, the ships again are coming. They come from all of these growers of cocaine, the countries that are primary growers in South and Central America. And again, most of these countries have the same concerns we have. They don't want this operation. They're fighting it internally. It is their internal terrorism. Most of our bilats they're working very closely with us to prosecute these individuals. So it's not independent that we're carrying out these operations. We're doing it together. Where are they going to? They're trying to get to the popular areas. They're trying to get to the places with money. The United States, to Europe. We have international partners. We have law enforcement teams that we put on European vessels from the United Kingdom and other countries in Europe that are also fighting this war with us down there. They know that these drugs will end up in their backyard, Europe.